Welcome back to another episode of Critically Incorrect, your weekly gaming podcast. I'm your host, Brandon, or online here today with Charlie, if you wanted to say hi.
Hello.
Yeah, we got a pretty good week ahead of us in terms of gaming news to talk about, because we have like 2 weeks worth of news, but as we always start off this podcast with, we're going to talk about what we've been playing. So, Charlie, what have you been playing over the last 2 weeks or so?
Yeah, I haven't played a ton outside of my usual stuff. So things like Battlefield and League and that kind of stuff. The main like single player thing I did play is I did go ahead and finish the Quarry. It took me just shy of 10 hours to beat. Um, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's great. I don't think I agree with like the eights and nines and stuff it was getting on like Metacritic and reviews and stuff. I think it's okay. But it's very slow. It's really weird. Like it has a very slow start and then it has a really like abrupt ending. Which I wasn't really a fan of the ending because it just kind of comes out of nowhere and it doesn't really like wrap up the characters very well. Um, so basically, without spoiling anything, you have like the characters who survive. Right, it just pops up on the screen with a picture of them and just says, "Hey, this person survived this thing," and that's basically it. And it doesn't really tell. Like, it's really weird how it ends. It's kind of odd. Um, but I still enjoyed it. I still think Until Dawn's better, in my opinion. I haven't played the Dark Pictures games, so I can't really compare it to those. Um, but I do want to get round to playing those at some point. But I still had fun with it. I'm probably going to go back and replay a few of the later chapters just to keep everyone alive because I managed to keep most people alive until like the final two chapters, and I think I had three people die out of the like eight. So I did okay, but yeah, the last chapter I failed a few quick time things, so they ended up dying. But yeah, so I might go back and play a bit of that. And then other than that, I guess Fall Guys has been the other thing I've been playing. They had the Halo event start this week, so I've been playing a few hours of that with my friends. Um, I'm enjoying Fall Guys, but I have a lot of problems with like their new cosmetic like microtransaction
Oh,
system. It's
yeah.
kind of broken. Um, like if you guys follow like Josh on Twitter, like he's posted a lot about it. There's been a lot of backlash online. Basically, I have like no issues with them doing like paid skins, right? And I have no issues with the skins that you could previously get for free with crowns being paid. My biggest problem is that um, when they transferred the game from being paid to free to play, they transferred everyone's crowns that you could use to buy the cool skins into the free currency, which you can't use to buy the cool skins. So now even the skins that were previously available with crowns when the game was originally out that I could just buy without spending any money on the game, if they come back in the store now and I want to buy them, I can't without putting money on the game, which I don't agree with. I think that's a really bad scheme. I think the best way they could have done it is just for all the players that had crowns, they should have just converted the crowns into the paid currency. That way, old players can still use crowns in quotation marks to buy, the new skins or previous ones that come back into the store, and then all the new players that are playing for free can, give you money for the skins. I do think they should also be cheaper as well. They're quite expensive for what they are.
They're
Like
like Fortnite prices. It's crazy,
yeah, they're
given
like
how they're
yeah,
like
they're
not as
basically
good.
Fortnite prices, and obviously the skins are nowhere near as detailed. And it's just like yeah, I don't know why you would pay the money for them. Like I think if this was your first time playing the game and you're playing it for free, fair enough. I don't see an issue with that. But when I'm someone who has been playing the game like relatively consistently since it came out a couple of years ago. Like I don't think it's a good business practice to just remove the currency and then previously stuff I could get for free is now like £10. I think that's ridiculous personally. So hopefully they change that system in some way. Whether they will or not, I don't know. I highly doubt that this system is a mediatonic thing either though. I imagine this is
Oh,
an
it's not.
Epic
This is definitely
one
epic.
like it's obviously Epic wanting to do stuff. So hopefully something gets done. Whether it will or not, I don't know. I think it'll be very dependent on if they're actually making money off it. Because if they're making money off it, they won't change anything. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But overall, I'm still enjoying the game itself, so I'm still going to play it. But I personally won't be putting money on to buy the skins until they start changing things, because I'm not going to support that. But yeah, that other than that, that's all I've been playing the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll talk about Fall Guys since I've also been playing that a little bit here in like the last few days, like a few hours. I definitely agree in terms of like the monetization stuff because like you, that was probably my biggest issue was the fact that like the currency that I normally could buy like any skin I wanted to in like the shop is now a currency where I can only buy like common items, and I now have like 40,000 kudos, and I like everything in the comment section is like 2,000, and it's like I definitely think there should I should be able to buy like a bunch of like the good stuff that I can normally get, just for like even if they were like a lot of kudos, at least make it like a progressible path for people
Yeah.
that have owned the game before. Just changing the whole business model of like paid cosmetics being only obtainable through money is kind of a slap in the face, given the fact that like me and you, Charlie, both paid for this game 2 years ago on Steam,
Yeah.
and like that was the whole business idea, was the fact that there would never be a time to like spend money. And the thing is, they could have had a balance between the two. You could have a paid battle pass in order to keep supporting the devs and for Epic to make it monetizable, but like at the same time still have like the item store have like different like progression paths. Like you could still have your like show bucks, but also have like the equivalent of what that would cost in kudos. Just have like a balance between them, because yeah, I just remember the old store was like so forgivable. I never felt like a need to buy anything on the old store, like the need to buy any kudos, but now it's like you need to buy in order to like even get like any sort of money in it. It's just crazy to see how like a corporation bought this and changed up the whole entire pricing scheme. It's definitely all Epic. Like the whole store is essentially just Fortnite. Like they have like the starter packs that are like $4, which is the same thing they have on Fortnite. It's literally just Epic's doing, and they want to make it another cash cow like Fortnite. But I really hope people aren't buying this stuff just to protest it, right? Just because it's absolutely crazy how this has changed. Yeah, in terms of the actual game, I have been pleasantly surprised by how much has been added since I played. I definitely really like the new Halo mode as well, because they have like these bounce balls, which kind of changes up, the way you play a bit. You could kind of troll a bit more, which could either help you out or screw you up. I really like the new finale they have with that one as well. That one in particular is really fun to play. So yeah, I've been kind of getting back into it. It's been quite pretty addicting, and I've been balanced between that and Fortnite. But it does suck that like the progression path just absolutely sucks. Compared to what it once was. It's just mind-boggling, because like the old progression path was like super considerate. So to see it go to like the very extreme other end is crazy. But yeah. Besides that, I haven't played terribly much. I said Fortnite as well, so I've been playing through that with some friends. And then I also started up Final Fantasy IX. So yeah, this one's been pretty good. I got it through the whole PlayStation Premium thing. Just decided to download it, and I've been sucked up into it. It's a really good game. It's really charming. It's one of the Final Fantasies that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about much to this day. But I'm really having a good time with it. I think it has a really cool identity with it, and like the main cast of characters are really, really cool. So I think I'm like 3.5, 4 hours into that, so definitely gonna keep playing that. But yeah, definitely recommend it. It's a great turn-based JRPG. Yeah, I definitely want to go back and finish the original 7, because I've stopped like midway through. So yeah, maybe I'll play through some Final Fantasy stuff. I also did, I think, stream 2 weeks ago, and I played like an hour of Elden Ring, maybe a little bit less than that. So yeah, I did go back to Elden Ring finally, and I played through some of that. And I think I also played like Spelunky on that stream as well. So yeah, I've been playing a bit more than usual. But yeah, that's been it for me. Anyways, we'll go on to the releases this week, and we got 2 releases this week. First one is F1 2022, so yeah, another racing game. So yeah, I'm sure if you're into racing games, you know about this. And yeah, I don't have anything else to speak on that. But the other one is I believe it was a shadow drop at Nintendo's indie partner showcase, not indie showcase, partner showcase that they had earlier this week. And Valve was there to show off a new trailer for the Portal Companion Edition that's coming to the Switch, and I believe they released it that day. So yeah, now I believe you can play Portal 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty cool. it's definitely really interesting the fact that they did this. I think I mentioned this before, given the fact that the Steam Deck's now a thing. Really cool to see how Valve just doesn't care about that, and they're pretty open to like the platforms they put games on. We've seen them obviously go on the consoles in the past, so hopefully this means that we'll obviously get like Alex on PSVR 2. I feel like that has to be a no-brainer. But yeah, pretty cool to see those releases this week. But we'll move on to the gaming news, and we'll start with the PS Plus games for the month of July. The 3 games here are pretty good in my opinion, or at least decent. So we're getting Crash 4, which I believe is our PS5/PS4 game. Really, really good platformer. One of my favorite platformers of all time. So that's immediately a great one. And then we got Man of Medan, which is same developers as The Quarry, Supermassive Games. I believe this series isn't as good as obviously Until Dawn. It's I believe it's part of the Dark Anthology. I want to say, right, Charlie? One of those.
Yeah, Dark Pictures.
So,
yeah.
yeah, which is pretty cool. And the last third one is Arcadegeddon, which I believe was a game they showed at the State of Play last year. It's essentially like this. You go into like this arcade machine, and essentially you have like a bunch of mini games you can play with friends. It seems like a very traditional like multiplayer game. Kind of gave me like vibes of PlayStation Home, but I honestly haven't really seen much discussion on this game, so I'll probably download this and give it a shot. But seems like it has a mix of a bunch of like mini games you could play with friends, and seems pretty cool. So yeah, don't know about the quality on that one, but all 3 games seem pretty interesting. They're all 3 games that at least seem pretty interesting. Definitely Crash 4 is a great one there, and Man of Medan and Arcadegeddon, I don't own them, so that's great for me as well. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Charlie, for all 3 of those games?
Yeah, I think it's a really strong month overall. Like I said, Crash 4 is a really good game. I need to go back and beat it. I sold my copy on disc because I was like, I'm selling it now before it drops in price because it's going to be free. So I sold that just because I'll probably play it a bit now that it's going to be free on PS Plus. Like I was saying, I do want to play the Dark Pictures games, so I do have Man of Medan already. I think it was on like a humble bundle, so I've got it on Steam, but I'll probably play it on PlayStation just for trophies and stuff. And I might play that one through with friends since you can't just play it for free online with friends. But if we all have PS Plus, then we can all just play that online. So I might do that. And then Arcadegeddon, I do actually own. I bought it relatively soon after it came out because it's been in like early access, I want to say, for like a year. Like they've been updating it. I played a little bit when it first came out, and I thought it was all right. But it didn't really hold my attention for too long. It's kind of like the easiest way to put it is it's basically like a mission based like roguelite, I guess is the best way of putting it. I think it's co-op as well, from what I remember, but I just played it solo. But yeah, you go in and do like missions, and it's like a third person shooter like platformer type thing. But you're like getting better guns and weapons and upgrades and that kind of thing. But you're going out and doing missions for different NPCs and stuff. So that's that kind of game. I don't know what they'd actually officially class it as, but I'd say it's kind of like a roguelite. So I might dive into that one again, see what's changed since I played it like a year ago. Um, but yeah, I can't imagine that's the kind of game that will hold a ton of people's attention, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I did not know that the roguelike. That seems really interesting. But yeah, seems pretty interesting. Definitely have to give that a shot. Anyways, we'll get into sad news story for me. I put this on the Discord earlier. I think it was like yesterday, actually, or 2 days ago. I don't know. But essentially, Sucker Punch confirmed that Sly Cooper and Infamous are 2 series that are currently not being touched by any developer, including themselves. So, yeah, there's been rumors in the past that like Sly 5 was in development by some unknown studio, and that maybe even Infamous, although that one seemed like even less likely. Yeah, essentially they confirmed that's no longer the case. They said that they like appreciate the fans that are still like very active in those communities, trying to keep up the Infamous servers and stuff like that for as long as possible, but eventually they'll have to like set those down as well. But yeah, just kind of came out and said that. I imagine they said this just because of obviously the rumors going around with like, yeah, I mean there's been rumors for like the last year at least, so for Sly Cooper at least, but yeah, just kind of confirming that. They said they were focusing currently on Ghost of Tsushima. Well, they're focusing on like one game. They didn't really say what it was, whether that's like a new IP or Ghost of Tsushima. But I imagine they're probably doing a Ghost of Tsushima too, knowing Sony's lately trends of just doing sequels of the popular PS4 titles. But yeah, kind of sad. I put this on the Discord. I just really want to see more variety in PlayStation's lineup. Like the most exciting spaces for me right now are PSVR 2 because those are like unique and different experiences, and also like Factions 2 I think will be cool, and whatever Sony's been new IP will be. But yeah, we have a lot of sequels to these like very traditional games, which makes sense because obviously games cost a lot of money. They cost millions upon millions, and you want to make sure that you're gonna get your money back, so you want to do safe stuff. But yeah, just I miss the days of the PS3 era where we got so many like cool new IPs and different experiences across the board of PlayStation. That's what PlayStation meant to me, and it's just sad to see that we're all just going down the same story-driven third-person route. But yeah, Charlie, what is your thought on all that?
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed by this. Like, I didn't think a new Sly game would probably ever happen, to be honest with you. Um, I just don't think Sly has got the kind of like appeal that Ratchet and Clank and stuff did, and I think that's mainly just due to the fact that they didn't do enough with it on like PS3 and stuff, right? Like they had one game, and then he also appeared in that PlayStation Move game or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Like they've never really done anything with him past the original games on PS2. And I think that's the real issue with it. I think if you were to bring it back now, no kids are gonna know what Sly Cooper is. So I think that would be the main issue you would have. Um, as for Infamous, though, the fact that there's nothing being worked on really sucks. Even just like a remaster or port, like those games are not good to play anymore. Like I saw a screenshot of someone playing it on
PlayStation Now.
PlayStation Now or whatever. I think it was Infamous 2 they were playing, and they were like somebody commented saying, "I thought this was an image taken on your phone of like the TV screen." Because it looked so like blurred and pixelated. And they're like, no, this is a screenshot of PS3 streaming on PS Now. Like those games, like whilst they're really good visually, they just don't hold up anymore. And the fact that we never got ports on PS4, I really don't get when they had Second Son. Like I don't know why we never got a port of 1 and 2. So the fact that that's not even being worked on really sucks because I love those first two games. So the fact that nothing's being worked on there, and even a new game, like I feel like Infamous in this day and age would do so well, like a
Mm-hmm.
superhero game. Like I get they have Spider-Man and stuff, but like anything superhero related does well, and Infamous was always a popular IP anyway. So it's weird to me that nothing would be done with it. I get it, right? Ghost did really well for them, so I'm sure Sony are really pushing them to do another Ghost game, and that's like I'm 99.9% sure that's what they're working on, right? Um, but even another studio should just pitch a new Infamous or something. Like I feel like if Bluepoint was still just doing like just remasters rather than remakes and stuff, I think we probably would have gotten like an Infamous collection. But Bluepoint have just moved on to bigger things now that they'll probably never work on something like that unless they remake it. But it's stuff like that where I'm like, even I'd love a remake of the first one, but instead we get Last of Us Part One, which whilst I'm sure is going to be great, I'm like I don't know where their priorities lie. Like in a game that doesn't really need a remake, and I'm sure it's going to be good and worthwhile, but it doesn't need it. Whereas Infamous One is a game that hasn't aged particularly well, but it definitely deserves a remake, but it's not happening. And I think that's a real shame. So I hope that in an upcoming couple of years, Sony start to delve more into their IP backlog because they've got some really great stuff that they haven't touched in a long time. But I get it. They have this cash cow of single player IPs that did really well on PS4, and if they keep selling them, they're just going to keep making those. So I get it from their perspective because it's risky to try and do some of this stuff, but it does suck.
Yeah, I don't understand what their goal is. I mean, obviously it doesn't make money, right? So they're doing things like Last of Us remakes and stuff because they know it'll sell well and do well. But it's like, yeah, like you said, an Infamous like remake would have been cool. But yeah, I don't know why they don't. I'm guessing obviously because of the money, but also just because maybe the IP they just know it won't do as well compared to like Last of Us, just like even critically because I guess Infamous is less serious and stuff like that, and Sony wants to be known as these single player story driven games or something. I don't know. Seems like they're really big on like critical reception, right? Like Days Gone 2 isn't happening, even though Days Gone 1 sold a lot, but just because of the critical reception as well. So it seems like they really want to move into this new space where they're no longer doing these like new and creative things for the most part. We still got like things like Astrobot and like PSVR 2, but they want to make sure they have those like 9 and 10 out of games getting like sequels and making sure each game does like really well. So maybe they thought Infamous would just get like a 7 out of 10 if they got like a remake or something. I don't know. It's interesting, man. Anyways, we'll move on to a stupid news story from EA. I couldn't believe it when I saw this tweet. I was like, who allowed this to be tweeted? So EA tweeted out, like, there's been this whole meme of, like, there are 10 but something on Twitter. I'm sure everyone has seen it. And EA tweeted out, like, something along the lines of, there are 10 but they only play single player games. And obviously, given the industry at large, like, everyone was just, like, ratioing this fucking tweet and just replying, like, how stupid it was, which it was. And it took, like, multiple hours before they were like, yeah, never mind, that would obviously make them an 11, haha. And yeah, it's just super handedly, really poorly. I don't know who did this. Obviously, probably just some social media person that works at EA that probably only plays multiplayer games that works there. Didn't realize that, much of the gaming industry is very heavily focused on single player. It was, yeah, very, very bad. Even like other companies are just like saying like, this is not it. Yeah, it's funny. What are your thoughts on that, Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dumb tweet, and I imagine it was just some intern or something who's probably lost their role now. Like, I doubt they're staying after this, but, like, it's just weird to me because not only does it offend, people online, and I'm sure that, like, I was like, oh, okay, it's a dumb tweet, whatever. But the problem is, this affects the developers. Like, imagine if you're working at Motive or
I know.
BioWare, and you wake up and you're having your breakfast, and then you see this tweet, and you go, oh, my boss has just said that my game is not important because it's not a multiplayer game. Like, that's
So
gotta
stupid.
suck.
Yeah.
Like, you're putting your heart and soul into these games, and the company that owns your business has just said, yeah, we don't actually care because you're not a multiplayer game. And the problem is, this is now going to backfire because what happens when they want to talk about the new Dragon Age or they want to talk about Star Wars? People are going to bring up the fact that EA apparently don't care because they're single player games.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a really weird one. And then not only did they tweet that, but like you said, they then tried to backpedal, but they did it so poorly. Like, they didn't apologize or anything. The what they actually said was, roast well deserved. We'll take this L because playing single player games actually makes them an 11. I'm like,
So
why are you
bad.
still trying to joke about it? Like, it's so weird. Like, just apologize. Just say, sorry, we made a mistake. Everyone does sometimes. We understand that the single player games are a big part of the community or something like that. Just something simple. I'm sure it wouldn't be super believable, but it'd be better than trying to play it off with another joke. Like, it's so weird, and it just shows how tone deaf EA are. Not just whoever tweeted this, but the company in general, because they haven't done anything about this. Um, but yeah, I just feel bad for all the devs there because I'm like, it's gotta suck when you read stuff like this, and not just at
Yeah.
EA, but developers in general, right?
Yeah, it just doesn't make the whole industry at large look that good when you treat shit like that. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. I'm surprised they didn't have any verification, like some social media lead or something like
it's
that.
crazy.
Like, I don't know how that got tweeted out, or like I think it was like hours before it was taken down as well, or like fixed up, quote unquote.
So the
Yeah.
original tweet was at I don't know what time it would be for you, but it was at lunchtime for me, and then it
Mm-hmm.
was 4 hours later. Although not even 4 hours later, sorry, it was like 18 hours later because it was 12 a.m. and then 4 a.m. So yeah, so it was from lunchtime to like 4 in the morning for me. So it was
That's
nearly
crazy.
a whole day later before they did anything about it,
That's
and it wasn't even a
crazy.
good thing. Like,
That's crazy. Yeah. Imagine working on a Dead Space remake right now and just seeing that.
but
Wild.
it's like, I know a former like Visceral Games developer is on the Push Square article. Like, they quote retweeted it saying like, "This is the company that shut down my studio and laid
Oh
off a
yeah.
hundred developers because we were making a single player game." Like, it's so bad, man. Like, it's just
Yeah.
really tone deaf.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, speaking of EA, Skate 4 got some new footage as well as the
It's a
ability to
multiplayer
sign
game,
up.
right?
Oh yeah, multiplayer game.
It's
They love those. But yeah, Skate 4 finally is getting some new footage, and then playtest for signups, which I still gotta do, are now live. Yeah, pretty cool. It's honestly weird to think that Skate 4 is in development. It was like one of those things like Fallout 4 where everyone just kept mentioning it in like the, comments of like a YouTube video or like on social media posts, and it's like now a thing. It's almost like Half-Life 3 almost in a way, just because Skate 3 came out like so many years ago. But yeah, really cool to see that. I did see some of the new footage. It looked pretty cool. As I said, I still need to sign up for it, but I'm sure you've already done that, right, Charlie?
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Like the new footage look great. I think the way that they've been like advertising this and just promoting it is really good. Like it just shows that the devs actually care and they want to show footage. Like obviously that trailer was very early footage and it was actually very similar to a lot of the footage that leaked a few months back, which seemed to be old at the time as well. But obviously towards the end of the trailer, they seem to show some much more up to date footage with like proper models and textured maps and that kind of thing. But mechanically, it's looking great. Some of the cool additions like parkour and like environmental stuff looked really interesting. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to it. I absolutely adored Skate 2. I enjoyed Skate 3 as well, but Skate 2 was the main one I used to play a lot. So me and one of my mates are super looking forward to this. So yeah, we both signed up like instantly. So hopefully they start doing those playtests relatively soon because I do want to get my hands on it. Even if I can't talk about it, I just want to get my hands on it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I definitely need to sign up for that. Just can't wait to play it. I never was really big on the skate games back on the PlayStation. I did play a bit of them, but yeah, sadly, I just never ended up getting into them really. But honestly, yeah, I just wish that I had like a way to play them. Maybe are they on like Steam and stuff like that? I don't know. Probably
So
not.
I think the easiest way to play them is Xbox because they're like
Oh,
backwards
great.
compatible. Yeah.
Okay, we'll figure it out, I guess. Yeah, probably that. Yeah, I won't be able to play it then, just because I
Maybe
don't have
they're
an
on.
Xbox.
Maybe one's on like PS Now or something. I don't know.
And then
Maybe.
play it with a blurry, like, mess of internet as well.
I don't know.
Love that.
That's the only way I could think of playing because they're not on PC. So
Man, the cell architecture screwed up game preservation so much. Because, like, on one
yeah,
hand, you have people that are like, you should, like, easily port these games over, which I get because obviously they're important, but at the same time, it's not, like, an easy feat. Yeah, it's just crazy how much that screwed everything up. Yeah, we'll move on. Anyways, the Spellbreak devs have been acquired by Blizzard to work on World of Warcraft. I did not know this. I played a bit of Spellcraft back in the day. By back in the day, I mean like a year ago. But yeah, Spellbreak is apparently shutting down now early. That's kind of a shame, but I imagine player base wasn't that big for that kind of game. I feel like it's really hard to survive in the multiplayer space nowadays if you're like just an okay game, right? I played a bit of it. It was cool. I could see why Blizzard would acquire them. From the time I spent with it, seemed like a lot of the abilities and stuff like that were pretty cool. So maybe they just want like the devs, just in general to be working on World of Warcraft since they obviously know what they're doing. Yeah, what'd you think of that, Charlie?
yeah. Like you, I played a little bit of Spellbreak. I played it with a few friends last year. And I remember watching a lot of it before it came out because I remember it was a big deal, like with a lot of the battle royale streamers, because it looks really unique and cool. I think it still has like a pretty small, like dedicated fan base that play it, and I think they still update it and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it sucks when they get acquired by companies like this because obviously they're not gonna work on Spellbreak or any of their own projects. They're just gonna kind of be merged into Blizzard just to work on WoW. Um, but I imagine that they did this for a reason, right? I'm sure it was very much a thing of they weren't making money from Spellbreak. It was going to shut down anyway, so they were probably looking to get purchased. So I'm sure it's probably the best thing for the devs, but it does suck when stuff like this happens. But like you said, it's very difficult to get a multiplayer game out that sticks these days. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll see what happens at the World of Warcraft space. It's one of those games that it's like so infamous, right? I've never like. I mean, I played like 15 minutes of World of Warcraft and then I stopped playing it. But I do want to get into an MMO one of these days. I played like an hour of like maybe an hour or two of Final Fantasy 14, but then it's one of those games where you got to pay monthly. That's the big thing that turns me off because I'm not someone that really consistently plays like a game like that for a long period of time. It's usually just with friends, so usually I'm turned off by like the whole subscription model. But yeah. Anyways, a game that got an update this week thanks to Nintendo's partner showcase was Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Yeah, this game's coming out on October 20th, and then I believe we also just recently got a overview trailer that was like 6 minutes long. I didn't like listen to it, but I did see some of the footage like via Twitter. The biggest thing I noticed from this like trailer, I skimmed through like maybe half of it, is that it seems like they have a lot of like colorful biomes this time. The first game was like pretty good in terms of like biome variety, but this feels like they're stepping it up a notch, and this feels like, I don't know, based on the trailer that I just saw, it seemed like it's really exciting how many different places like you look, visually unique, and like you'd want to play the game. Yeah, like the first game did that as well, but this one like on a whole new level. I saw like snow, I saw like a like mysterious purple forest, and then yeah, just sandy deserts. Definitely need to go back and play through the Donkey Kong DLC before this. But yeah, just very, very excited for this one. I've been having like that XCOM itch lately. Like the Steam Summer Sale is currently going on, and I almost picked up XCOM 2. And then I realized, I hardly play games right now, so that'd probably not be a good idea. But yeah, this is just coming out at a perfect time because, yeah, I love the first one. I played through it so fast when it came out, probably within a few days. Probably do the same thing with this one. Just so simple to sink hours into it, especially given the fact that it's, able to be played portably. So yeah, what'd you think of the whole new showcase for Sparks of Hope?
Yeah, I thought it was a nice little showcase. The additions are really cool. Like the new combat system looks great, where it's not tile based anymore, and it's kind of like a circular, like free movement. You can just run wherever. I think is really cool. Um, the new characters they're adding in, like Bowser being playable, and like Rosalina and stuff, like some cool new characters. I will say it's kind of disappointing they haven't got the full roster from the first game coming back. So there's a few omissions, and then like Rabbid Yoshi's not in it, and like the Donkey Kong characters aren't in it. And then they're being replaced. So like they've got, like I said, Rosalina. I think they've got like a new Rabbid that's just like, it's not a Mario Rabbid, it's just this new Rabbid character. I can't think what her name was. Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The locations, like you said, look a lot cooler. I think they said they're more open for you to explore and stuff. Um, it seems like it's going for more the Super Mario Galaxy vibe, where you're hopping between planets and stuff. So, um, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot more open than the original, which was obviously very linear. Um, so yeah, I've been going back, and that was one of the things I've been playing this week. Is I have been going back and replaying the first game, and then I'm gonna play through the Donkey Kong DLC because I never played that, but I do own it. So I've been enjoying that. But yeah, it's one I'm really looking forward to. Although it's coming out in that horrible time period of just where everything is coming out, so I don't know. Like, I'll probably pick it up at launch, but I don't know if I'll play it a lot because I think Gotham Knights is out that week or the week after. I think COD's out the week after that. I think Plague Tale 2 is that week. So yeah, like everything's coming out in that October November time period. So there's going to be a lot to play, but it does mean like coming up to Christmas, there's going to be loads, which is going to be nice since we're in such a like dry spell right now of games.
Yeah, honestly, this would probably be my priority. What'd you say it's coming out that week? Like Plague Tale 2 and what else?
I think Gotham Knights is that week, maybe the week
Okay.
after. I think it's around that time. I can't think of the exact date. It's like the 23rd or something like that.
Okay, Gotham Knights is a game I really want to play, so I guess it'll be between those two.
Yeah.
Damn. But yeah, like you said, more games the better for that holiday season. Yeah, just such a long time. Like it's been like, wait, oh my god, it's been like 5 years since the first one.
Yeah,
What?
it's over
That's
5 years.
crazy.
Well, it
That
will
is
have
crazy.
been over 5 years, yeah.
Oh my god, it's like 5 years between Uncharted 3 and 4. Remember how long that wait felt? Jesus, that's crazy. How has it been 5 years? Yeah, and speaking of a game that's been in development for quite some time, Skull and Bones is apparently releasing this November. I'm sorry, I don't care who's reporting this. I don't believe it. Like, we haven't seen this game in ages. I don't believe that this game's apparently just gonna straight up drop in like 4 months' time. Maybe we'll get like a surprise showcase from, Ubisoft. I know they're apparently going to Gamescom, and showing off some stuff. So it looks like that may be their summer plan. I don't know if they're doing like a Ubisoft Forward, but Tom Henderson was saying that they're apparently going to be doing like 3 updates on like Skate, which might have been the thing we just got. Skull and Bones, and one other title I'm forgetting.
Skates EA.
Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Okay. Yeah. Wait, but I think Tom Henderson said something about Skull and Bones as well. I think he was just reporting on like a bunch of games.
He's one of the
He did
people
say
that
something.
like said he's been hearing this date. So
Okay. I still don't believe
yeah,
it.
I'm pretty sure the game is like almost complete. Like they've been saying it's like I think it's either going gold or it's gone gold or something, and that it was coming up to a reveal very soon because they've been playtesting it like crazy the past few months.
This game is either not good or they're like super confident with it. It's like one or the other. Like it has to be far on the spectrum. There's like no way this game's just like decently good. Like it's either really good and they just want to surprise people, or this game's not doing well and they just want to get it out the door.
I think this date leaked from like Microsoft Store or something. Because it leaked with like a load of pre-order things about like a gold edition and all that crap.
God.
Let me have a look. There's probably an article.
Ubisoft's been like struggling with. Yeah, go ahead.
So it was from the Xbox Store listing, so it's probably legit.
Okay, down.
So yeah, it just says like it's gonna have the usual pre-order stuff. In addition, it includes like a soundtrack, art book. Interestingly, the game's paid. I thought it was going to be free to play after all this stuff, to be honest with you. I thought this was going to be the ideal game to have free, right? Like, it's going to be directly competing with stuff like Sea of Thieves, which you can get with Game Pass and has millions of players. Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to sell a multiplayer-only, ship-only combat game, at least at full price. Unless maybe they'll go for like the Rainbow Six Extraction price point or whatever of like $40 or something, and have it on Game Pass on day one or something, which would be a good idea. But I think they should have just made it free to play. I think it being paid is a bad move, and releasing in November also a bad move. But you know, I ain't Ubisoft, so
I don't understand their plan. I feel like ever since like Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, like they've had like a series of like thuds. I know Valhalla did somewhat well for them, and like I think Riders Republic was like critically responded well. I know I liked it when I put the demo or beta, but like, what was the one we were just talking about? Tom Clancy's Parasite or Quarantine, whatever the name was for that one. Extraction.
Yeah, it had like 5 million names.
That one wasn't that good, I believe. Critically, I think that was like the definition of mediocre according to people that played it. I haven't played it myself, but I definitely do want to eventually at some point. I hope they get back on their feet, critically. It just seems like they haven't had like a good, like, well responding game in a while, besides maybe Riders Republic. That one was decent, but yeah, man, it's crazy. Who knows what's gonna happen here? Yeah, it's everything that's happened recently. Like Roller Champions is like randomly going live and just finally coming out after like years and not really having any marketing to it. It's wild. It's just bizarre what's happening at Ubisoft right now. Yeah.
I mean, maybe the Avatar game, right? Like, I think that's also like Tom Henderson has been saying that's going to be at this Gamescom thing, and that's apparently also out in like November or December.
Shit, that is this year, huh?
Because yeah, that's meant to be coming out around the same time as the film. So, hey, maybe that'll be really good. I have hope that game's going to be cool because I remember the one on like 360 and stuff being really good. But who knows? Maybe it'll be cool. Maybe it won't. I'm not excited for the new movie, but the game could be cool.
Yeah, likewise, pretty much. Anyways, speaking of movies, I guess actually there's a show, but film nonetheless. Horizon 2074 is apparently the name of the reported Netflix show that's happening. Yeah, I think Jeff Grubb was finding like some information online, like off a like leaked post, like of some of like the directors that are linked to it. But essentially, he was talking about what he's been hearing about the show, and apparently, it's gonna not be tied to like a reboot of the original game storyline. But instead it's just going to like reveal more answers to like the overall story and world of Horizon, which is personally what I want the most. So I'm happy with this news and information. He said there's going to be like two timelines. One timeline is like essentially the same timeline as the games, where you know how many years it's been since the fall of civilization, and then the other one is going to be like the years like right before it happens or as it's falling. So we'll get like that crucial time period as things were starting to hit the fan, and get answers, I imagine, through that perspective. So I think that's pretty cool. yeah, now that we're learning that it's not like a reboot, this is probably one of the more exciting projects PlayStation is doing, in my opinion. Just because the lore of Horizon's pretty cool, but if you just get like a simple retelling of the game, I feel like no one really wants that, right? Just because I feel like you can't deliver it better than the games already have. With The Last of Us, kind of makes sense since it's so cinematic and so like character driven. It already feels like a film. But for Horizon, I'm glad they're taking a different stance of that. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Charlie?
Yeah, I like you. I think this is a much better idea to have something that's going to expand the lore rather than just, trying to redo the games. I also think it makes a lot more sense budget wise because I imagine having a show that's kind of more just futuristic sci fi people in boardrooms talking about war and stuff costs them a hell of a lot less than having people running around with giant dinosaurs. So I think budget wise, that's probably why they've done something like this. Obviously, you did say about the dual timeline thing, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're gonna have like loads of really cool CG
I
stuff.
feel like they have to have like
Um,
the dinosaurs. Like if you're doing a Horizon show and you don't emphasize on that point, like literally the VR game's doing
yeah,
the same exact thing. Like that's the identity of Horizon. So I feel like they'll still have to have that in a lot of it.
yeah. But yeah, I'm more interested in it for the more like modern, or I guess slightly futuristic modern day stuff, just because that hasn't been explored too much and like the war and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm certainly interested in it more now. I just hope it doesn't like follow Aloy and stuff with like the modern day stuff. Um, or not modern day, sorry, the super futuristic stuff, right? I guess the
So
current Horizon
it's like, is it
timeline.
modern day and then the other one's like in the past? Well, it's definitely in the future since obviously it's like what 2070 something. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this more now. I think the rumor is apparently this is going to be filming later this year because I think a lot of the original details like the name and stuff leaked from like set location stuff. I think it's happening in Toronto or something like that. Um so it was obviously all like it had to be officially online. It said that they were preparing for filming in like autumn or something. Um so yeah, it's moving surprisingly quick considering we've heard very little about who's writing it and who's directing episodes and that kind of thing. I thought this was going to be a lot further out than it actually is, much like the God of War show, and even Twisted Metal. Right, like we've heard casting and stuff for that show, but we haven't heard about when that's filming or anything. Right, so
Yeah.
um, it's weird that we're hearing about this before that. But yeah, it's cool that the project sounds more unique than I thought it would be. So.
Yeah, I thought we'd be hearing more about like the Ghost of Tsushima movie that's being directed by like
Mm.
the same guy of John Wick, or at least maybe the Twisted Metal, movie. But yeah, that's interesting. Cool to see though, because this is probably now one of the more exciting ones, for sure. Yeah, I want details on that God of War one, but I feel like that will just be like a retelling of the game, just like Last
Yeah,
of Us
ain't no
is.
way that's gonna be like God of War 1915.
They had an opportunity with Horizon to call it 2076. I'm disappointed. That would have been funny.
I thought, yeah, I thought they were like when I saw it, I was like, oh, they trying to take a dig here? 2077 is that what they're
Yeah,
gonna
or yeah, 2077. My bad.
do?
That would have been funny though. Anyways, when we move on to a story about Hideo Kojima, I thought this was pretty funny. So apparently, I guess to give backstory, Kojima has been on Twitter, talking about his thoughts on The Boys lately, which has been cool to see. Charlie and I both watch it. We had like a 30-minute discussion before recording this episode on it. Definitely go watch that show. But yeah, he's been watching it, and he was saying that apparently like he scratched the game idea like a few years ago because of the concept being like super similar to what The Boys is doing, or at least somewhat similar to it. Who knows what that could have meant? I don't know if he elaborated on that further on what like
A
I
little
think he was
bit.
yeah, a little bit he elaborated on it. I think he said something about like just like superheroes or something like with like them being kind of like corrupt or something. I'm not sure. Maybe just like a dig at Western media, which like The Boys kind of already is. But yeah, I thought that was super interesting. It'd be interesting to see what he would have done with that. That'd been funny. I know like a bunch of like the writers at The Boys and stuff like that have been like hitting him up saying like they should do a game with him,
Yeah.
which I think would be funny, pretty funny. But that's definitely not gonna happen. I don't see that happening, obviously. But Never say never.
I mean,
That'd be really cool to get a boys game. I feel like I said this ages ago. Rockstar would be a perfect company to make a boys game. Like the humor is like they both go to like the very extreme. If you played GTA 5, like given the political landscape of that day, like they went in on that, and like that's exactly what the boys is doing currently. I feel like they're like a match made in heaven if Rockstar did like a boys game. I mean, by the time they eventually release it, it'll be like what 7 years in the future, and the boys will probably be like long dead. So yeah, maybe that won't work out, but it just seems like something meant to happen.
well, what I think is probably more likely to come out of this, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did, is Kojima directing an episode of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of the creators have said they're fans of Kojima and obviously want to partner with him for a game. And whilst I don't think that would ever happen, Kojima obviously is super into film and TV shows, and he wants to do more of that stuff. So I would not be shocked if they tried to get him on to direct an episode or something, which would be really cool. Because I remember he was in an episode of is it Man on the High Castle or whatever? Because Nicholas Winding Refn like directed a lot of that. So Kojima was in that. So he's done acting stuff. So I mean, maybe he'll be in an episode. That'd be kind of cool. So something like that I could see happening. But yeah, he basically said like he was working on he started on a project when the first season came out, and stopped watching it because of how similar it was. But apparently he'd been like working on it for a while, like just coming up with it. But it was basically going to be like a buddy cop, like detective squad facing off, as he puts it, against legendary heroes behind the scenes.
Oh
And
wait,
that
this is where he said Mad Mikkelsen would be the main
yeah, he
character,
was
right?
thinking of having Mads as the lead. So yeah, it does sound very similar. So I get why he both stopped the project and also stopped watching the show for a long time. Um, I wonder if also maybe this is one of the projects that got canned at some point, just because he probably tried pitching it to people and it didn't go too well. Because I mean, he seems to be really liking The Boys now, and I think he's like binged it, judging by his Twitter. But I imagine it's hard to watch projects like this when they're very similar to something that you've been wanting to work on for a while.
Because then there's
So
that
I
bias of
imagine
yeah.
I imagine the project's kind of long dead now and would never happen if he's going back and watching the show now. But it's cool to see he was doing something like that because obviously that's very different. Well, you would imagine it's very different to what Death Stranding was. So, yeah, it's cool to see him talking about projects like that.
Yeah, it's funny. I like how he's like really liked season 3, in particular the boys, and like that's been the season that has had the most nudity. So I'm like, this man, Death Stranding, I'm like, it's right up his alley.
Kojima likes octopuses. What do you mean?
It'd be cool to see if they get like one of the actors into like his future project, like whether they get Anthony, who plays Homelander, to
He's such a good actor.
star in it. Yeah, that'd be a really good pull, and I feel like he'd say yes to that. Or the guy that plays Huey, forgetting his name.
Jack Quaid.
Jack Quaid, there we go. Yeah, one
He
of those
really
two.
likes
Maybe.
Kojima. He likes.
I know they
manga,
had like
so-
an interview with like kind of funny where they like
Yeah.
revealed that he's tweeted about him. So yeah, one of those two would be really cool. Maybe even Butcher as well. But yeah, that'd be awesome. Totally be down for that. Anyways, a long-awaited announcement was announced this week, and that's the fact that Persona 3 through 5 is indeed coming to the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, it turns out Atlas does like money, and they made the sensible decision to, bring these over to Switch as well. So yeah, Persona can now be played essentially on like any modern-day platform at this point. Yeah, PC, PlayStation, and Switch now, and Xbox. So really cool. I say Persona 3 through 5. It's the same exact versions that are coming to Xbox. So it'll be like Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5 Royale. But yeah, pretty cool and exciting stuff. I say maybe I'll play through Persona now, but I haven't touched my Switch in like, I don't think I've touched it this year yet. I think the last time I touched it was last year with Metroid Dread, which is an amazing game, by the way. Go play it. But yeah, just more options, and I like one of the tempting reasons to get a Steam Deck was so that I could play Persona 4 Golden, on the go. And now I no longer have to do that. And granted, it is on the Vita, but I hate the Vita. I'm like, one of the very controversial opinions of mine is that the Vita is very uncomfortable to play, just because of how small it is. But yeah, that's a rant for another day. But cool to see it's on Switch. What are your thoughts on that, Charlie?
Yeah. When everyone was like freaking out saying like it wasn't on Switch, I was kind of like, yeah, it's gonna come on Switch eventually. Like there is no reason why it wouldn't. I thought it was probably they were just waiting for a Nintendo event, right? I do
I mean,
feel
it's
for
been
all the
years. I
people.
highly doubt that was the reason.
Although I do feel for the people like Warlock who, been memeing for a while about Persona not coming to Switch, and you can no longer make that joke. And obviously the memes of everything, why does everything have to come to Switch? And then like, oh my god, Persona's on Switch now. Uh, so yeah, this game's perfect for Switch, as everyone always says. Yeah, I mean, I'm still not gonna play them, but it's cool for those that want to.
Yep, exactly. Just cool options. Anyways, a really cool news story that happened earlier this week.
Well,
Bad
is
for
it
the
cool? I
developer
don't
because
know.
they broke an
Yeah.
NDA, but yeah, I won't name the dev just because that'd be kind of scummy given they broke an NDA. But yeah, the certain VR developer posted pictures of their PlayStation VR 2 dev kit like on their chair just earlier this week. Just really cool to see like a view of how it looks. Granted, you can't really get like a good size comparison because like the chair looks absolutely massive in the picture. I don't know if this is like a recliner or something like that, but it's still cool to see nonetheless how it would look like in a physical home space, right? Looks really, really cool. It'll totally fit the color scheme of the PS5 and looks really cool. Like the orb design that we've seen already of the headset. Yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it, but just, another reminder that this thing is, real and happening. Developers are currently having dev kits working on games. Very exciting stuff. Just really want more updates on it. We got like a little spoonful of information last month at that state of play, but man, I just want Sony to have like one of those like PS5 showcase levels for it where they get like, their whole like lineup of first party, plans. Because they've been saying they have like, what, 20 games available at launch that are like AAA size or something like that. Yeah, I feel like they're definitely doing a lot of stuff with PSVR too, somewhat at least. Just want to see it, man. What are your thoughts on that picture and everything around it?
Yeah, so I saw the pic pretty soon after it released because me and the unnamed dev follow each other on Twitter. So I,
Oh, there
I
you go.
saw it like pretty quickly after it went up. And the funny thing is that obviously the tweet isn't there anymore, but one of the top replies when I looked at it was, what, how, like, why are you posting this? Surely like this is under embargo. And then like they responded to it being like, oh, if it was 6 months ago, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess they can share pictures, but it's kind of weird that no other dev has shared any images. But the dev obviously had no clue and thought, oh, okay, well they revealed their official image of the thing 6 months ago, so I can just take a picture now that we got ours in the mail today, right?
I
And
wonder why no
then
one's done this yet.
immediately
It's super.
regretted it when all the articles went up. Like instantly be like, oh, we got the first pictures, boys, they're in the wild. And they're like, oh shit, we need to take this down. And the funny thing is, they then tweeted out again the same tweet, but instead of using their picture, they used the picture that PlayStation put up on the blog like 6 months ago. They were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I wonder what game we're making, or like, what game we're bringing to this." And it was just the image that Sony put up. I was like, "Okay, nice one, nice damage control."
Yeah.
Because the funny thing is, then everyone in the comments was just posting the original image, so it didn't really matter. Um, but yeah, I think it looks cool. It's cool to see it out in the wild. Um, yeah, I guess this means that a lot of devs have had it for a while now, and it's starting to get to more indie developers and stuff, which is cool. I think to go alongside this, like I don't know what company it is, but apparently like one of the leading eye tracking like companies is partnering with Sony on
Oh,
the new
Toby.
headset. Yeah, so that's kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I can't wait to just see more from the headset and more of the games they're doing. But
Can't.
hopefully we'll
Yeah.
hear more about that towards the end of the summer. But who knows at this point? I mean, it's going to be this year now. So yeah,
What do you think? What do you mean it's coming this year now? You think the headset's coming out this
next
year?
year now. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
my
I was like,
English is
what?
gone. It's late. Okay, it's late.
I wish though. Yeah, I can't wait to spend $600 on this thing because everything we've heard about this headset sounds super expensive with eye tracking, foveated rendering. Like somehow this headset's lighter than the original. It's like there's like nothing bad that's been announced about this headset. Like nothing that sounds like a compromise. It just seems like they fit everything and like everything's going up in terms of like benefits. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm super stoked for this headset. Anyways, another news story has, according to Jeff Grubb, that Metroid Prime Remastered is planned to release this holiday. Man, I've been wanting to play Metroid Prime for ages now, and I know it's been like rumored over like the last few years that like Nintendo has literally have it ready. They're just like planning it for when like Metroid Prime 4 is coming out closer to launch, which is like kind of what they did with Bayonetta, I guess. Even though Bayonetta, well, actually, no, that's not what they did with Bayonetta, because Bayonetta 3 is still not out. Never mind, I'm stupid. Yeah, I can't believe Bayonetta 3 is not out. Remember how that was announced before Astral Chain, and Astral Chain came out like immediately afterwards?
I was
Life
surprised that wasn't at the partner showcase, to be honest. But I guess maybe it classes as first, or I guess it's second party, right? Maybe. So I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah. What's
But then
it?
Mario and Rabbids was there, and that's got Mario in it, so who knows?
That is true. We last saw Bayonetta 3 at the showcase in September of last year. I know they had like a direct. So yeah, that game's weird, man. Like it's funny because like Platinum, whenever they talk about the game, they're like, "Oh yeah, development's going like incredibly well." It's like, is it? It's like, where is this game? And it's like, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, going back to the original topic of Metroid Prime Remastered, I'm guessing, Metroid Prime 4 is, within a few years of coming out, if this is releasing. Either that or they're just tired of waiting or like, what, just release it, we want money. Yeah. Either way, it sounds like apparently they're spacing out the games, so instead of having a bundle, they'll like release them separately, which I think is really stupid given the fact that we got Bayonetta 1 and 2 together. But yeah, Nintendo, like, they suck up so much money with the ports. Like, they'll, release ports standalone and charge $60 together. I can't believe they're doing this. Like, I'm surprised it's not going to be just a trilogy, because like even Mario had like those 3 games that were like had nothing to do with each other. They were all from like different generations, but they included them all together and charged only like $50 or something like that. So the fact that you're going to charge like separately as like a standalone game, maybe it'll be like 20 or 30, but just do all of them. Just do the trilogy.
It's gonna be fucking $60 per
No
game.
way. No way.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it because people will buy it.
That's $180 for play the trilogy.
It's Nintendo. They don't think with sense. They think with money. That's all it is. And because the sad thing is, it will sell. So.
Yeah, because I'll buy it.
But yeah, I mean, like you, I've been waiting to play the Prime series, so I'm looking forward to it. If it's full price though, I ain't picking this up on day one. Screw that. But it's Nintendo, so I would not be shocked. Just like I'm not shocked that they're splitting it up to spread it out up to the release. I'm guessing this probably means that Prime 4 is next year, like end of next year, right? Would seem likely to me. So yeah, it's cool that it's finally coming out. I think someone asked on Twitter, like, how much, because I think he called it like a remake, and they were like, is it a remaster or a remake? And he was saying it's kind of like in between. Like, it's more than just a basic remaster, but it's not a full-on from the ground up remake. So I'm guessing it is similar. If I was to guess, I would say it's more like Skyward Sword HD, where it's like they've ported the game, but they've had to redo a lot of the controls and stuff to fit the Switch. Because I imagine they've probably taken the Metroid Prime Trilogy Wii version and ported that across, if I was to guess. So yeah, hopefully they've done some cool work to it and it looks good and stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be one of my most anticipated games for the rest of this year. I think Mario Rabbids is there, One Piece Odyssey, which looks like a really good JRPG. Not many other games. Ragnarok, if it's still November, which apparently it is. Yeah, there's been a whole shit show of that game this week on Twitter, but we won't go over that. Just a lot. But yeah, we'll end off with this last news story, that one that cleared from Miyazaki. He was talking about like Elden Ring and stuff like that, and like his future plans with the company and stuff like that. So he said that he's like still planning on like directing, games going forward. Like he said he's working on a game at the moment, which I'm guessing is gonna be, another one of those big games from him where it's like Bloodborne or, Dark Souls. So that's really exciting for me personally, just because that guy has not missed. Like, I think From Software has only had like one mediocre game in my opinion. That's been Dark Souls 2, and that's the one game Miyazaki didn't really work on. So like, it's clear that this man has like, is a really good lead for the company, and is a good driving force there. Yeah, looking forward to that. He also said like another game from Software is like almost like done, which I'm guessing is going to be like one of their smaller games, like that VR thing we got from them for PSVR.
Was
there's
it like
no way
that
there
mech
are
series they work on? Apparently
Oh yeah,
that's
there's also
been
doing
ready
that
for a
mix.
long time.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Something like that. Is that like supposed to be a big release or something? Cause I don't know.
I think they're pretty popular. I don't know when the last one was, but I seem to remember there was a lot of leaks about like they've been playtesting it heavily for a while. So it's like very close to being finished. And then he said in this interview that their next game was pretty close to being done. So it's
Armored
probably
Core,
just one
right?
of those. Armored Core, yeah. So it's probably just another one of those.
Yeah. Interesting. I typed in the website for From Software, and Armored Core is like the first thing that came up. So they're definitely, ready for something soon here. Yeah, I'll definitely give it a shot. I love everything From Software does lately. Even if this is like a totally different genre or something, I'll give it a shot. For sure. And yeah, that was kind of it. I just wanted to include that update. He did say like more updates are coming. Elden Ring. I feel like they have to do Elden Ring DLC. They didn't do DLC for like Sekiro, but I feel like that was probably more with the side that Activision was publishing it, and maybe it was something to do with them. Because I feel like every other game from like Bandai Namco, they always do DLC for. So I feel like that definitely has to be in the cards, especially given how well that game sold. It was like clearly their biggest hit ever. So I feel like it'd be stupid not to do DLC, and it'd be like super easy to like incorporate into it. And speaking of Elden Ring, by the way, Charlie, you still have not played Elden Ring, have you?
Hey, so fun fact for everyone that is watching on the camera right now, I'm gonna hold this up, and Brandon can guess what I'm holding up right now, and I'm gonna leave
Copy
it
of
at
Elden
that.
Ring.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I do need to play it. I do need to play it at some point. But I just yeah, it's gonna take time.
It
It's a
baffles
long
me
ass
how
game.
a game that's been denoted as like game of the generation released this year and you haven't played it. I'm like
I just
baffled.
yeah, it's just
Like yet you played Horizon, which is like a 50-hour
and
game, right? Or something
but
like that.
I haven't beaten it though. I didn't beat Horizon, but
You know
I
what's gonna
did put
happen
like
is you're gonna end
50
up playing
hours in.
Elden Ring and you're gonna fall in love with it and you're gonna be like, why did I not play this game?
I don't know, man.
If
We'll
I
see. We'll
played
see.
50 hours of this game in the current state where I hardly play games, then you know it's good. Yeah, I gotta go back and beat it still as well. That's like my main requirement for summer. Like I can't leave summer with having not beaten Elden Ring. Like that would just be blasphemy. But yeah, we'll both play it, Charlie. There we go.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's been it for episode 73 of Critically Incorrect. Yeah, fun news story week. Summer hasn't been as dry yet, but I feel like the month of July probably will be. We'll see. Apparently, there's gonna be some news, but yeah, usually these are always like the more dead podcasts. But yeah, it hasn't happened yet, so we're on a good streak. So yeah, we'll see you next week for episode 74. Until then, take care.
See you later.